Is it Friday yet? No, but almost. It's Thursday, morning sunshine. It's Groundhog's Day. We'll have more on that in a minute. I'm Robin Meade, and here's what's going on. A soccer match turned deadly. Was it the intense rivalry between the two teams?
I just, wanted to say thank you again to Robin Meade for joining us here on World Exposure with Cher Dial, and it's really an honor and a pleasure to be talking with you.
I don't think I'm dressed up enough, Cher. Look at you. You got your spangles on. I love it. Like
really?
On the video, you can't see her. She's got red spangles on and her earrings. I mean, I've got a little bit of clothes envy.
Oh, no. You always look great, and your smile. And of course, I remember you from Chicago, and I was going to say, not only are you, so popular from doing the morning show, the Morning Express, but are a lot of people surprised that you're also a great singer and songwriter?
It's funny to me because this is my second album,
Uh-huh.
but I still get people on Twitter or internet or viewers who go, I didn't know that I saw your album at Target or iTunes. And so that shows me that I still need to get the word.
Well, you know what's funny? We were talking about how I'm from Chicago, so I actually knew you when you sang at the Newsapalooza concerts. I used to listen to Rokon every day. I was like a faithful listener, and so I remember when you would do those shows.
Oh my gosh! So Newsapalooza was this fundraiser that Richard Marx. Do you remember Richard Marx? Who is still an artist and still a great songwriter and still a great producer.
Still wonderful, yeah.
Most people knew him from his huge hits at the end of the 90s and the early 2000s. He's a Chicago fella, lives there now, and so he will work with some of his radio friends to do a fundraiser for cystic fibrosis. Mm-hmm. So for fun, and I think this is so wise, they call it Newsapalooza, and then they have a lot of news people, anchors from in that town, come and sing. And people will attend, because they want to see Richard, but they'll also attend because it's like, what? I didn't know that person sings.
Right.
And in general, most of the people don't sing, and they're not performers. And so it's kind of fun to see Richard bring it out of them. And but people were surprisingly good.
Now, I wanted to talk about your new CD and Count on Me. And what's the process of making that? And you've written 7 out of the 12 songs. Yeah. What an accomplishment.
Thank you. Yeah. This is my second album.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is also on iTunes. And just like this one, if this one's at Target stores, if you like your physical CD still. But just like this one, I wanted to do a lot of the writing because I think as a journalist, I already write a lot. I didn't know how to write songs, and I asked the album producer, Victoria Shaw. So she taught me how to write songs.
Did you know I watch the stars at night?
So the music itself happens really fast for me. Like usually I'll come with a concept for the song that day. Someone else might have the groove, and then someone else might say, how about these words? The part that's slow is the business part.
Right.
Stinks. That keeps me up at night writing emails and, things like that.
Exactly. Well, I'm a big fan of the song Never Alone.
Which Victoria wrote, and it is so... I wish I wrote that song. It's one of those songs I say, man, I wish I wrote that. Now, I took that song and put it on my first album, but it's been cut so many times around the world because so many people feel the same way. It's like an Irish blessing song.
Right.
And it could apply to your kid, to your love, to your mom, to someone who's passed on. It just has so many applications. It's one of those songs that rings true for a lot of people.
Right, yeah, you can listen to it and be inspired. Now, Gonna Be Days, that's about your husband?
So Gonna Be Days is the second album.
Right.
Right? And, Gonna Be Days one of the most honest and, I'm going to say, realistic songs about relationships and love that I've ever written. It is about the yin and yang in love. On one hand, the chorus is, there's going to be days when I just can't stand you. days when I can't live without you. And after 19 years of marriage, I can tell you that is. I don't want to be the person to write the song that says, "Oh, and we never fight. We never go to bed mad at each other." Oh,
Right.
what a bunch of malarkey.
Right.
You know, I mean, when you get my albums, you're going to get real, authentic emotion, and, you know, I'm going to be real with you.
What inspires you to write? Are there different situations in your life that inspired you to write? And what is the most meaningful song that you've written so far?
Yeah. You know, I'm going to say usually anything can inspire me from something. On this album, there's a song called Your Glory Days.
Uh-huh.
And I wrote that with Sugarland's Christian Bush. And that was inspired by an email for a 20-year reunion. And I could see that everybody on this email was really excited, and there were references to, oh, our glory days when we were skinny and young, or whatever.
Right.
And then after that particular reunion, I didn't attend it. One of the gals who is married to someone who's a public figure, he announced that they were getting a divorce. And it was only 4 days after reunion. And I just thought, God, that must have sucked for her to have to act like everything's okay.
Right.
And then 4 days later, they announced that they were divorcing. And that just made me, first of all, I wanted to write this song for her, but then I wrote it for everyone who thinks, wow, my life has really gone to pot now, but man, back in my glory days. And so my thought was, why can't your glory days come around 2, 3, 4 times?
Yeah, true.
Back then, I think they can come around a couple of times at least. So
Exactly.
That's the reason of that song.
Oh, that's great. And I know you did your soul songwriting with Soldiers. That had to make a huge effect on you.
You know what? So we just ran this recently.
Right, I saw it.
It was a special that we did, like a half-hour-long documentary, basically. We learned for this group called Songwriting with Soldiers, and they were using the songwriting process to try to help veterans or people who return from deployment, try to help them get in touch with their feelings and to talk about what happened and to express the things that are giving them PTSD, which, if you know anything about military folks, they're so selfless and really, in general, have that chin up, well, don't worry about me, let me try to help you type of attitude. And sometimes it's hard for them to deal with these emotions years later even. So with a song, though, there's something about music that does, once you put words to a beat, melody, that really connects deep in your brain. And so that was such a gratifying experience to be able to see them finally talk about what was on their mind and to express it and to always have a song that someone wrote with you
Right.
when you're about to go into some emotional pit and use this song to get in touch with your feelings. For me, music has always done that. I used to suffer from panic attacks on the air.
Right.
Yeah.
And you wrote the book.
Yeah, and I wrote the book about that. So
Right.
My book came out in, 2009 or so. But I used to use music because I would have panic attacks on the air as a broadcaster, which
Right.
makes it very difficult to do news if you can't breathe.
Right. I know. I've suffered from them. I know. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, it's frightening. You think that you're crazy, and I can laugh now, but it was very painful at the time. I thought my career is going to end. I can't do what I do for a living. But I use music to self-medicate.
Right.
It's hard to go into a panic attack if right before the news you're listening to I'm Walking on Sunshine.
Yeah, right.
So when I wrote the songs for Count on Me for this second album of mine, I wanted them, A, to fit into the theme of Count on Me, and I wanted them, B, to really touch you emotionally, but not, I want to motivate you, and I want to move you. In other words, I want to move you, but I don't want to leave you sad. I want to motivate you to the next level.
And I once again want to say we're here with Robin Meade, and thank you so much for joining us here. And it's fun. Are you amazed at all the artists that you've been able to work with? I mean, it's like the list goes on and on.
I am, and it's, I don't know that it's because of anything outside of the fact that I'm bold enough to ask.
Really?
I mean, I don't know that I can offer them anything in their musical careers because these are like really accomplished people, and I think I'm bold enough to ask as a reporter. That side comes out, but as a musician, I think that there is an honest love of what they do and what I do, and I love to share that with other people. In other words, songwriting with people, it's a different experience for every different person that you're writing with.
Right. From an early age, you have you talked about your father being a preacher. So what did that mean in your house regarding music and what you listened to and what influences became your influences?
I'll tell you what, it's a strange and a confusing juxtaposition because as somebody who grew up as a preacher's kid, you know, my butt was in services 3 days a week.
Uh-huh.
So what do you do at church? You sing. You
Right.
sing songs. You get up and sing. And so from the time I can remember, like maybe 4 years of age, I knew music and how to hold parts and, you know, what alto and soprano and that kind of thing were from being a preacher's kid. But in addition to that, my dad is an acoustic guitar player and a fine singer himself. So he and my mom would spoon feed us Beatles songs, mostly the love songs, and spoon feed us Elton John's albums, Crosby, Still, Nash and Young.
Right, that era, exactly.
Yeah, the Bee Gees before they were disco. What else did we have? We had a lot of Bread. Remember Bread?
Yeah, oh yeah. Diary, oh my God, I remember I listened to that song about 1 million times over.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you know, have a great, rest of the afternoon, and you have no idea how much I appreciate you taking the time and all the technical difficulties we've had, but I really appreciate it, and I hope we can keep in touch.
Sounds awesome. And bye to the doggy who's waving.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there he is. Yeah, really?
Seems like you're blind, keep on leading blind. Trying to get them on the phone, trying to find my way back home. Try and fail again.
Hi, Terry.
Hey, Cher.
Nice to meet you. I just wanted to welcome Terry from the Belfast Cowboys right here in Minneapolis to World Exposure with Cher Dial. And I'm just actually thrilled to be talking with you.
Oh, come on.
I know, I'm serious. I've been like a fan for years of your.
Serious?
Yeah, I'm serious, and yeah, it's crazy, and I mean I don't mean to say this, but I mean I am like the biggest Van Morrison fan
Really?
of all time.
I was.
No, really. It's crazy, isn't it? So maybe you could tell the audience about your band and that you're all the songs and everything you sing.
Well, let's see. We know I've lost track of how many Van Morrison songs we know. Over 80.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I haven't counted them up lately. We're probably getting pretty close to 100. But I remember back, the first time I ever thought about doing a band like this was, many years ago. I was listening to his live album, It's Too Late to Stop Now. Uh-huh. And the song that starts the album is Ain't Nothing You Can Do. And the horn section kicks in, and it was so, I was taking a shower, to get perfectly
Frank.
honest with you. And I just thought, wouldn't it be great to have a band with a horn section? I thought, it'll never happen, And about 10 years after that, we put it together.
could also tell us about the band St. Dominic's Trio.
Well, St. Dominic's Trio it started because the Belfast Cowboys is a 9-piece band, and it's got a 4-piece horn section. And I wanted to be able to play more often because there aren't that many venues that can handle that big of a band.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
Right.
I wanted to play at some of the little Irish pubs around town and things like that. And it actually did start out as a trio. And the name is kind of unfortunate because we generally play with 4 or 5 people, and the name still stays the same.
Oh, yeah.
But we used it just as a way of drawing a line between the bands. I didn't want people showing up for a Belfast Cowboys show and then say, "Oh, the horns aren't with them tonight."
Right, I see. Right, exactly.
Yeah, a bait and switch. So I didn't want to do that to people.
Yeah.
And so St. Dominic's Trio was born, and then we used it when we put out a CD as a vehicle for original music. So we used St. Dominic's Trio as a way to play some of those songs.
That's cool, though. That's really cool. You know, what a great thing to be able to do. You know, and then how is the sound different, and how is the music different for the audience between the two? Like, say, for your original music that you do. I've heard it, but just for the audience.
Well, the original music is a little. You'll find more inflections of the Rolling Stones or Elvis Costello or some of my other influences other than Van. There's a lot of Van in there that I can't deny, but
yeah.
The sound isn't all that different, although the Belfast Cowboys are really horn driven, and
right.
we give them as little time for breaking as possible when we play a Belfast Cowboys show, although their lips get sore and they have to go and get something to drink.
But horn bands have always been like really popular, like Chicago and everything else. And I was going to mention that, is it true that I read that you were opening up for Chicago and you played a 3-hour opening set?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Really?
That was actually the biggest crowd I've ever played for in my life. There were about 15,000 people in Stillwater, Minnesota. And,
wow.
And there was supposed to be another band that played before us, and then we were to play, and then Chicago was going to come on. But the other band never materialized, and I said, "We'll play. We'll be glad to do it." So because we play 3-hour shows pretty frequently, and I thought, boy, here's an opportunity to play in front of 15,000 people. I want to take it and run with it.
Right.
And so we did, and it was a great day. It was a big success for all of us, and just a thrill.
Once again, we are here with Terry from the band Belfast Cowboys right here in Minneapolis. And you can always check out their website at thebelfastcowboys.com and check out my interviews on my website, worldxcd.com. And I'm having a great conversation. And like I said, I have actually seen you play at different places around, and
we play around a lot. I'm sure that was at Kieran's. We play there
right
one weekend a month, and we play at Nye's every Tuesday.
Nye's, I was going to say every Tuesday. That's got to be cool to have a regular gig there.
It's my favorite night of the week. I love it. I love playing at night.
Oh, yeah, I bet. And now with the 9 gentlemen, maybe you could tell us a little bit about them, because I had read also how you described your band on Facebook, and it said long and short hair, plump and slender, blue eyes, brown eyes, green eyes, 64 foot tall, and 1,800 pounds. And I love that. Does that describe everybody perfect?
I forgot I wrote that. That was probably at the end of a late night, I think.
It's cute, and I like it.
Sure.
Yeah. So do all the guys get along with everything? And I mean, because 9 guys is really a lot.
There's one guy we really don't like in the band, but I'm not going to mention any names. No, I'm
I know I didn't really mean it that way, but you know what I meant. I mean, I know it sounded that much.
We all, I think I hope we all genuinely like each other.
Have you been together all long periods of time? Or do people come and go, as time goes by?
When it started out, it was a different lineup than it is now. As a matter of fact, after our first gig, one of the main four guys that started the band left the band. He moved to California. He's a very successful booking agent now, Brian Swanson. He works for Monterey International Artists, a company that actually books Van Morrison now. So
wow.
He can be forgiven for taking that job and moving. But
really?
There was another guy there that was at our first show, Dan Kowalski, very talented guitarist, and I had seen him play before and thought, wow, it'd be great to be in a band with him. And he heard that Brian was moving, and he said, I'll take that gig, and he did. Other than that, maybe after 2 or 3 years, once the band started getting rolling and I started getting better gigs, it became easier to keep the lineup that we wanted.
Right.
But still, with 9 people, you're forced to, if we waited for the same 9 people all the time, we'd have to turn down a lot of shows. So I've got substitutes at every position.
Well, that's interesting to know. Yeah.
And it's a lot of them are just guys that I've played with over the years. I've been playing since I was 17 or 18.
Do you remember the first song you ever wrote?
The first song I ever wrote, I wrote. I noodled around with a chorus when I was about 13, but the first full song I ever wrote, I think, was called "You're a Faker."
Oh, really?
This was my first band, and I knew 3 chords, and I played them in Buddy Holly style, and it was not even that. I don't think it was about that simple though, and pretty stupid lyrics, but it was a song, and I got the song written.
I know. Well, would you like to perform a song for us tonight? That would be wonderful.
Sure.
Oh,
glad
great.
to. You want to hear a band song?
Sure. Is there any favorite band song that you have?
I'll play "Bright Side of the Road."
Oh, that's a great song. All right. Well, here's Terry Walsh with "Bright Side of the Road."
From the dark end of the street to the bright side of the road, we'll be lovers once again on the bright side of the road. Little darling, come with me, help me share my load. From the dark end of the street to the bright side of the road.
Well, listen, this was a blast. Unbelievable. And thank you so much for the honor of singing the song. It was great.
I should have warmed up. I came straight from that parent-teacher conference, and I didn't even think about singing, so...
Oh, no, it sounded really good, really good. And thank your son for setting you up on Skype. He did a nice job. And I am definitely, in the next week or two, I'm going to come and see you for sure, so...
Great.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. So I'm glad you got connected with Robert, too.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, thank you, and have a great night, and then we'll talk to you, and I'll keep you posted on when this will air.
All right, Cher.
Thanks, Cher. It was fun.
It was.
Okay.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, and thank you so much for joining us tonight on World Exposure with Cher Dial. I hope you were excited by all the guests we had, and there's always more to come. You never know who you'll see on World Exposure with Cher Dial. This show has been edited by Sasha James, produced by Robert W. Morgan, and me, Cher Dial, the host. This has been a Cherberg production. And please check out our website for all exciting news, entertainment, events, contests, and much more on worldxcd.com. Thanks for joining us every week.